So let's talk about how I wound up with this bad boy. This is a Tamron 150 to 500. So my daughter, she recently made the Spirit Squad here in our hometown. And my thoughts was I want to sit up in the stands and be able to shoot pictures of her and her Spirit Squad as they're, cheering or dancing or whatever they're doing on the field. I want to be able to take pictures of that. And since I'm not going to be able to get down on the field, I need a lens long enough to where I can sit way up in the stands and shoot all the way down on the field and get good pictures of her. I have a 70 to 180, and I don't think that's going to be near long enough for the job that I need to do. So I started looking around at lenses, and then when you're in the Sony system, your choices get fairly limited there at the top end of the range. So you're the 200 to 600 Sony or 150 to 600 Sigma, and those lenses are they're just way too big. That's just something that that's something that you graduate to. You just don't start off with that. I don't think you have to know that you need that kind of lens before you start investing that kind of money, and also invest in in the weight and the size of those lenses before you buy one. So I really pretty much just discounted those two lenses because they're just way too big, way too heavy, and a little bit more expensive than I wanted to pay. So I started looking at the 1 to 400 range, and of course the Sigma has a 1 to 400. I don't know, and then Sony has a 1 to 400 G Master. And that thing is like crazy expensive. I mean, it's like crazy expensive. And I'm just not quite sure that 400 was enough to meet my needs. I just don't know if that's going to be tight enough for what I want to do. I mean, I want to take shots of the Spirit Squad as they do their thing on the field, but also might want to do a little bit of bird photography, wildlife photography. I've been taking more of a liking to shooting birds and stuff in my backyard. I didn't think that 400 millimeters would give me enough reach to shoot in the stands, shooting all the way down the field. And I also didn't think that the 400 millimeters was enough reach if I want to do any kind of bird photography. So that kind of left me in between. And what you come up with if you want an in-betweener is a Tamron 150 to 500. So that's what I wound up with. And I'm doing a little bit of testing on it yesterday. I just got it in yesterday, took it straight out to shoot with, and that's kind of my first impressions of this particular lens. First, let's talk about the lens a little bit. This sucker is heavy and big. So of course, it's shorter than the lenses in the 600 millimeter ranges, but it's still big and it's still heavy. So you're not just going to have this in your backpack randomly. If you're going to be out shooting, you're going to have to go out with the intention of using this lens to shoot stuff with, because it is just way too big and way too heavy just to have randomly in your backpack, if you ask me. So just know that. It has a fair amount of controls over here on the side. I really didn't get into those just a whole lot because, like I say, I was just kind of out shooting, messing around with the lens, the day I got it in. It has 3 different vibration control modes, and we'll get in. And I found that mode 1, pretty much, if you're just random shooting, mode 1 is what you want to be in. If you're taking photos only, mode 3 is what you want to be in because it tries to freeze the action as you click the shutter button. And amazingly enough, my photos came out looking pretty decent, even at the longer end. You can turn the vibration control on and off if you're on a tripod. It has an autofocus manual focus switch, which is nice. And it also has 3 modes for, you have a 15 millimeters to infinity, a 3 millimeters to infinity, and a full range of focus on there. In case you're trying to focus on something way out there, or you're trying to focus on something that's relatively close to you, you can change that and it'll save the lens from using its full focal range to try to focus on. And that's nice because a lot of times I was just trying to focus on something really close, and the lens would struggle. I flip the switch to a different mode, and it was just able to pick it up right away. So that's a nice feature to have. I don't know exactly how far a meter is because I'm from America, but we're still trying to work that out. But let's talk about some of the video capabilities of this lens. I went out to shoot, and I shot some video with it, and I was shooting with my A7 IV, and I started off with 30 frames per second, and I just couldn't get any kind of stable footage with it at all. So I thought, you know, I won't have to shoot in higher frame rates. Well, I flipped it over to 60 frames per second, and it was even worse. I thought, when you're at 60 frames per second and you're using the A7 IV, it automatically goes into APS-C mode. And when you're in APS-C mode, 500 quickly becomes 750 millimeters. So I don't know if it's a fault of the lens or it's just something that can't be done, is hold a lens steady while shooting video at 750 millimeters or 500 millimeters. I'm just not quite sure if it's the lens or if I'm asking too much of the lens, or if it's something that can be done at all. So we're still testing that out, but I just could not get a good stable shot. And I did get one decent shot, video shot, and I was sitting in my truck, and I was holding the camera like this, and I had my elbow braced on the truck, and you know, I was able to steady the camera pretty good that way. But just out hand holding it, no tripod, no anything, it was pretty tough. And the video was just kind of, the stabilization was just kind of jumping around like this, like it would go this way and then jerk this way and all this and that. And that's just not going to be usable footage. So I got the A7S III. I'm going to take it out today. I'm going to shoot it in 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, and see if it's any better. Like I say, I definitely think that when you're out at 500 millimeters, you're going to have to use those higher frame rates, or you're not going to be able to get steady footage at all. But we're going to try it out. Now we can talk about the photos a little bit. It's so much fun shooting with a super telephoto lens. I never realized how much fun it would be. It just goes so far out there. It's just unbelievable how far you can get out there. I mean, it just kind of blows your mind what you can get while shooting with a super telephoto. As far as the lens goes itself, man, some of the pictures are just awesome. I mean, I just love the way it looks. Like, I tried to demonstrate in a picture how compressed the background is at 500 millimeters, but it's hard for me to show you that because it just compresses so much that no matter what you do, it just looks like everything's all compressed together. No matter what I do, I can't get a shot that can demonstrate how much the background compresses at 500 millimeters. But like I say, I've only been using the lens a day, but it's pretty impressive how that works. And as far as the picture quality, man, I found this lens to be super, super sharp. If you give it enough light, you increase your shutter speed enough, you get everything in focused, this thing is just sharp as it can be. Like some of these pictures that I'll show you here, I mean, I've cropped in heavily, and I'm quite pleased with the results. I mean, just a couple of birds and a couple of shots here and there, but I'm really, really impressed with the sharpness of this lens. So anyway, quick little video for you here today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.